Copies of 9 petitions filed in Supreme Court challenging the 20th Amendment handed over to the Speaker. Housing issues of 40 novice MPs resolved. Donald Trump signs America's first healthcare plan. There, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. Those were the headlines, now news in detail. 3 people, including a woman, were arrested in Ududumbara, Kandy for killing a leopard and attempting to steal its meat.
Police investigations revealed that the leopard was trapped in a snare set up for pigs on the 8th of September and suspects prepared its meat for sale. Police in its investigation discovered that the leopard meat and parts of its body at the residence of the suspects and are conducting further investigations to look at the missing body parts. The suspects were arrested following a tip-off received yesterday evening. The suspects are residents of Kalalgamo in Ududumbura, aged 31, 35 and 44. The suspects are due to be produced before the Theldini Magistrates Court.
The Parliament informed the Speaker has received copies of 9 petitions filed at the Supreme Court challenging the 20th Amendment to the Constitution.
I
would like to inform that with regard to the Article 121, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution, another 9 copies of petitions have been presented to the Supreme Court regarding the 20th Amendment draft bill.
Sri Lanka's geopolitics.
2 ships belonging to the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force conducted a naval exercise with the Sri Lanka Navy. The port of Colombo is directly linked to the history of relations between Sri Lanka and Japan. Refreshing these memories, the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force Kaga and Igasushi arrived at the Colombo port on September 23rd for a 2-day official visit. The JMSDF ship Kaga, a multi-purpose operation destroyer, is 248 meters in length and is managed by 380 crew members. Meanwhile, the JMSDF ship Igasushi, a destroyed class ship, is a 151-meter-long platform manned by a crew of 170. Deputy Chief of Staff of the Navy and Commander Western Naval Area Rear Admiral Sumit Veerasinghe met with the flag officer aboard JS Kaga, Rear Admiral Kono Yoshisuge, to mark the arrival. The Parliamentary Administration said so far 40 novice MPs have been provided with official quarters.
Deputy Secretary General of Parliament Neelet Dewel said that since the former members of Parliament have handed over their official residences, the places have been made available for the new members of Parliament. This was after a problem arose when former MPs did not hand over their official residences.
50 unmarried couples were legally married today in Panduwasnuwara, Kurunegala.
50 couples who did not marry legally were invited to the Panduwasnuwara Divisional Secretariat today. Government officials intervened to legalize their marriage. Our correspondent said that this was carried out under the leadership of the Kurunegala District Secretary, Panduwasnuwara Divisional Secretary and other officials.
ඔවුන්
ගොනුන් නිත්‍යානුකූල ලෙස විවාපත් කරවීමට රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන් මැදිහත් වුණා. අප වාර්තාකරු පැවසුවේ කුරුණෑගල දිස්ත්‍රික් ලේකම්වරයා.
Today is day 27 of the fifth phase of the Gum at the Door-to-Door initiative. 6 Gum at the teams are touring 3 districts in search of the burning issues faced by the people.
The 5th Gum at the Door-to-Door initiative is currently underway together with the University of Peradeniya. Our teams are touring the Ampara, Kegol and Badulla districts. The main issue faced by the Attala Pindeniya estate in Galigamuwa Divisional Secretariat is housing. It has been 2 years since the line houses were damaged after several trees fell on them. These people also face difficulties due to dilapidated roads. Our team in Kegol are expecting to tour the Bulat Kohupitiya, Indura Polawatta and Yatiyantota Run Poundgama villages. Our team toured the Madupata village in Gallude Ampara in the morning. "36 families are suffering in this village due to lack of access to water. The villagers, together with the Gammadha team, established a Gammadha Savia in the area as well. Our Gammadha team came across the Hagiriyalla Primary School in Uvaparanagama. There are 53 students receiving education at the school. The sacrifices made by these children to win the world despite their difficulties is a prime example for everyone else.
Sri Lanka has a sweet and bitter history with Japan. On Easter Sunday, April 5th, 1942, members of the Catholic community around Colombo attended a service at St. Lucas Church in Boralla. At 7:30 in the morning, a loud noise came from above the pastor standing in front of the altar of the church. The siren sounded and the whole city of Colombo roared, suppressing the hymns. The targets of the Japanese aircraft were the port of Colombo, Mount Lavinia St. Thomas's Stadium, the area close to the Kalani Temple, and the British artillery camp near the Mulleriava Mental Hospital. The first Japanese aircraft to enter the port of Colombo attacked the British Navy's HMS Hector and the HMS Tornadoes, sinking them to the bottom of the ocean. During this time, Great Britain was leading as the nation with the strongest naval force. Defeating the British was the only intention of the Japanese. The next target of the Japanese aircraft was the airport in Ratmalana. 27 British fighter jets were destroyed. The Anglo-Psychiatric Hospital was also bombed, mistaken for the Ashland Barracks or the British Artillery Complex. It damaged the hospital building and killed 17 people. Japanese planes crashed into the Colombo Racecourse, Golfes Green, Horana, Mardana and Peta. The Colombo attack ended with 90 casualties, 80 of them Sri Lankans and 10 British soldiers.
In more sports news, Chief Executive Officer of Sri Lanka Cricket Ashley De Silva says that a final decision regarding the Sri Lanka-Bangladesh Test Series will be taken today. He made these comments at a media briefing held in Colombo yesterday. We need to know the situation and follow as what is directed by the health authorities, because we all know that the situation is controlled in our country. So we can't take any chances. So if the quarantine period is 14 days, it applies to the Bangladesh team as well. So far, we have not been officially informed. We are negotiating verbally with the COVID task force as to how this can be taken forward.
Verbally අපි සාකච්ඡා කරගෙන යනවා COVID මේ task force එකත් එක්ක කොහොමද මේක ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් කියලා.
මීට සති දෙකකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රිකට් ආයතනයෙන් කිව්වා අපිට දවස් 7යි කතාව හරි කියලා. දැන් මේ දවස් 3ක් වුන්ද ඒක දැන්
ඒක තමයි ඒගොල්ලන් දන්නලා තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ට මොනවද අවශ්‍ය කරන්න කියලා මේ tour.
They have told us their requirements. If the tour is happening, they will come 3 weeks prior. The expenses will be taken up by their board because they want to train. So they have informed us their requirements. We have passed the message over to the COVID task force and asked their opinion on the same.
මේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ රික්වයර්මන්ට්ස් ටික අපි දන්නලා තියෙනවා කොවිඩ් ටාස්ක් ෆෝස් එකට මේවා තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ ඉල්ලන්නේ අපිට ඒකත් එක්ක යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා.
Skipper Dimuth Karunaratne also spoke about the preparations of the Sri Lankan team for the upcoming tournaments.
අප්‍රේල් මාසයේ ඉඳන් වගේ අපි පුහුණුම් කටයුතු කරන බලාපොරොත්තුෙන් ඉදියා හිටපු සීරීස් කීපයක්.
We have been practicing since April. Many expected series had to be postponed due to COVID-19, but we continued practicing. But we have not stopped any of them until now, because we are preparing ourselves for any tournaments that would come in the future. Me and my team are eagerly waiting to play a match soon. Also expecting to play the Bangladesh series if we get the approval from the Ministry of Health.
අපිට හෙල්ත් මිනිස්ට්‍රි එකෙන් අප්‍රූවල් එකක් හම්බුනොත් අපිට සෙල්ලම් කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා ඔක්තෝබර් මාසයේ.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV1. For details of these stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First team, I'm Martin Sathinesan, along with producer Senitha Senanaika. You have yourself a wonderful day.